Alright. I can't actually like edit the video, so that's why I have to like walk around and sit down every time because of how my little setup is. But besides that, belief or action, and which comes first? This is an often question because a lot of people, when they try to strive to something through life, they try to grasp an understanding of, can I become, is it better to become a manifester, which is on the belief side obviously, or a disciplined, now in the modern society labeled a red pill, but really anyone can be disciplined. That's a different topic. But before I actually answer that question though, I have to explain a few misconceptions between belief and action, which a lot of people, or at least the average person, will not be able to actually accumulate in their mind, right? So for starters, the relationship of belief and action. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is that they think that belief has to come before the action, right? They have to think that belief that you can do it is a precursor to the action, which in some cases I agree. But that's more towards goal setting anyways, not as much of actually doing something. Like, you don't believe that you can do 20 push-ups, but you can still go and try to do 20 push-ups and succeed. But what people don't understand is that you have to put the belief in the same timeline as the action. You have to believe while you're doing the thing, right? If you try to believe before you do the action and then you go do it, you're going to feel like shit. Because you're like, oh yeah, I believe that I could do it 20 minutes ago, but now I can't. But if you're sitting there and just rewire yourself to say, I believe I can take this action, like I believe I can do a push-up right now. You do one, boom, positive reinforcement. And then, try to do another and another and another. And then when you get to the other one that you quit on, you know that, or like that you fail at whatever point that is for you, you begin to realize, okay, this is how many push-ups I can do. And you don't feel like a piece of shit after. Like, you'll actually enjoy exercising because now you've moved your belief from the past to the present while doing the action, instead of thinking about it as, oh yeah, I want to go do that thing, I think I can do it, and then go and do it, and then have negative thoughts overcome your brain because you're sitting there like, oh, what do I do? Because, right, when we partake in an action, right, your mind and your body are with that action in the present. Right? It's not like I can detach my mind from literally detach my head from my body, put it somewhere else, and put my body somewhere else. I'm not a chicken, right? So you have to start to culminate the idea of believing while acting, so that way your mind and your body can work towards your goal instead of your body working towards one and your mind against you. At least that's from my personal experience. Because when I go to even something like super simple, right? Like solve a math problem, okay? You go to do it, and then you fail, and you're like, what the fuck? Why I can do this all the time? It's because you're believing that you can do it before you actually do it. And then when you do it, you kind of just throw it out the window. But the thing is, you need that thing in the window, right? So don't throw it out the window. And I actually have a window right there, but anyway. So I wanted to get that out of the way before I talk about qualifications to actually believing and acting in a proper sense, where you're not just sitting there saying mantras to yourself, and you're not just sitting there literally just grinding it out until your mind explodes in one day. So I'll go with belief first. In order to believe in yourself, you must pass these two qualifications, or you must do these you must set these two standards into your life. Number one, adjust external absorption. I made it sound nerdy because it makes me sound smarter, but it's basically just content, and it's saying that. All right. So, and it's basically saying that whatever you consume or whatever you look at the most is what you will be like, because that is what you view in your external world as perfection. There's no real ideal of perfection or imperfection. There's just, what do I see and what do I not see, right? Because if you saw, for example, maybe you see a hot girl on Instagram, or a hot guy, I don't know what my audience percentage is, but if you see either one of them, and then you go and you're like, oh yeah, I want to be like that person. Well, you don't even know what they're like for starters, which is obviously we know all the bad like mental health thing. We get that out of the way started at first. But the idea is that you're consuming this picture, right? Because maybe with like a couple sentences, right? You're consuming this, and you're not actually gaining any value out of it. You're just setting a higher standard for yourself, and yet you keep consuming that content without actually doing anything, and then you become one of those mantra believers, right? Then you start leaning over to the mantra believer side, and then you won't be able to act unless you take the action and pair it with the belief. Does that make sense? So, number 1. Number 2, you have to edit internal beliefs. This is by far the most difficult one of this video. And it's going to take a really long time, but basically, I'm on this journey myself too, but basically, at least something that I do that's worked, is that I take this in forms of self-talk, right? Whether it be out loud or in my mind, I hear it, and then if I want to be like something, like today you can figure out what somebody thinks like by going to their social media of some sort and then seeing what they write and then seeing what they're doing, and you can be like, okay, I see how this person thinks and I want to be like them, so how do I implement this into my life? And for starters, what you do is you look at your self-talk, and it doesn't even have to be, I mean, obviously it's super beneficial to go from negative to positive self-talk for many reasons. I shouldn't even have to say them to you for you to understand. But after you begin to take that self-talk, you start to understand that this mindset shift actually develops you in a way where you can mold yourself towards that thing you want to be, rather than molding yourself into something else. And what do I mean by molding yourself? Picture yourself in a bubble. Every time you believe or act in any way, your bubble shifts a little bit. Now, you can think of that as a movement, you can think of that as like a reshaping, whatever you think of it. And every time you take an action, it shifts. And obviously, every time you take a negative action, it shifts into the way that you probably don't want it to go. Unless you're like ridiculously lucky and you like, I don't even know. But that was a weird problem. That was a weird thing that just came to my mind. But it's the idea of, okay, if you want to think like a business owner, right? Well, you got to know, like for starters, know where you can get knowledge from this from. Millionaire Fastlane, right? Super good book for entrepreneurs. People have been reading it all the time. I heard about it and I bought it. Okay, because I want to be like an entrepreneur. Simple. So it's this idea of first getting that part down, right? Getting the idea of, okay, how do I change my content resources to think? Back to the first part. And then to the second part, where we're now editing our internal beliefs, you absorb this content and then you apply it into your life in some way, shape, or form, right? If you're talking to yourself and you're talking like, oh, blah, 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 or you're talking like some way that you don't like, that's where you got to become a conscious human being and edit that and be like, no, this, no, this, no, this. And then sooner or later, you start to think like an entrepreneur. You start to look around you and say, oh yeah, that's a problem. Oh yeah, that's a problem. Oh wait, I can solve this by using this instead of that because that sucks. You start seeing different things that you wouldn't see as a normal person, which is super valuable in any scenario, really. Because independent thought is a belief that you should cultivate so you can use that to see what your USP or your unique selling proposition is and what that can be to other people. That's kind of really turned into a weird business video, but anyways. So now that we've adjusted our external absorption and we've edited our internal beliefs, we can now go on to how action works. But let me recap. For a belief, you have to optimize each part of your life to externally and internally absorb a form of positivity. or something that will benefit you in the direction you wish to go. And it comes with a warning. That's what I want to say. Sorry. And you have to make sure that you actually stay humble and hungry, because obviously you know the saying, so I don't explain it. But when you don't do this and you become, it's odd, because you'll see, or you'll observe it if you know how to observe it. You'll see your ego get really sky high when you start becoming the person that you actually want to be, because, well, now you're matching your reality, and you're gonna look at other people like, what the fuck are you doing? You're a bozo. But that's what you don't do, because you don't actually know if they are a bozo or not, right? So just keep that in mind before you go super belief mantra'd, right? Because I'm going to provide a solution to you at the end of this video, which you can do both. But, all right. Sorry, weird bird. But now we go into action. So I want you to... yes. So I want you to do something that you know shows yourself success short-term and long-term. That's right. Yep. And also to note that can be two different things. And the reason why I want you to do this is because in the short term, it will help you reinstate your beliefs while having undeniable evidence, right? I believe I am getting stronger. Why? Because I'm going to the gym. Because I'm at the gym right now. Oh shit. Now all of a sudden, like, if you there are like belief studies out there. I'm sure you could find them where it's like they tell you like that is that's why placebo pills exist, right? They tell you that it's something else, and then it's that, but really it's just the power of your actual belief that is making it work. So it would be an absolute waste. If we can outbeat pharma companies with belief, there's no way we shouldn't be using it for other things too, right? And obviously it's often limited because of the way we operate in a normal sense, where we're more like conscious, and we're more analytical, and we're more like judging of things, rather than the other part of our brain, like literally, where we're observing and where we're being able to see things on a more I don't want to say unconscious, but like subconscious level. And it's just like you get to open up the ideas of like what I said earlier about like how to be able to change your mindset to see things like an entrepreneur. So for the short term, it reinstates your beliefs. And for the long term, you get overall fulfillment and confidence increase, because you start to develop a rapport of being able to do things and being able to believe in yourself to do the thing in the moment. And then you're able to reflect on that and be like, oh shit, I'm actually like doing something good, right? You're not, I don't know, like maybe you're not sitting there and doing another puzzle, right? Or maybe you're not sitting there and reading another book without doing anything about it, right? So it's this idea of taking the action so that way it helps you prove your belief, and also make sure that when you take this action, it does prove your belief, and if it doesn't, don't hold on to it, right? Because when you don't hold on to that belief, it'll allow you to establish a more, maybe it's not confident, but at least a more fulfilled report, because you're going to be able to say, I tell the truth to myself. And that is a very difficult thing for a lot of people, because they don't fucking know how to tell the truth to themselves. So, with that being said, make my last point here. Now we can finally go on to the prioritization. Which one should we actually put first? The answer is both. You probably saw that throughout the video, and it's probably a depressing answer for you right now, but it's this idea. Here, I gave you a picture here that I'll read it out to you. Picture a construction team pouring half the concrete needed for a house. If you lack either belief or action, you get a half-assed plan to make progress in any venture. True. If you're wait, what? Sorry, I forgot what I wrote down here. Oh yeah. And then I guess to wrap up that point, it's that I don't push actions onto people. I only push an idea that I got from my past experiences and from my observations of my current outside world. And I guess internal world as well. Well, that's... Anyways. So, I hope that helped you understand the relationship between belief and action. And it helps you prioritize them in the correct way, where you can start believing in your action rather than believing before your action. And I guess actually after too, because if you think about the timeline, right? You believe before, you fail. You believe before, you fail. And then if you're here, present, future, right? So it's about the idea of understanding the conscious timeline of belief and action that I really want to implement to you. And I hope you can use that as a tool to develop your whatever skills or whatever the hell you're doing right now. So either way, as always, we're here to help you help them. And I'm gonna... Yep, perfect ending. Yeah, there we go.